Let's get started!
Man, it's chapter 405 already. Time flies so fast. It's like it's just yesterday when people were still talking about MHA possibly ending at around chapter 380. But look at where we are now. Also, now that I think of it, where the hell's 5-minute memory? I haven't seen this guy since the war arc. Nah, whatever, I'll just start the rant now. Okay, here we go. MHA chapter 405. It's a Lord Explosion murder focused chapter, featuring stupid revival bullshit, Mr. Demon Lord still being an idiot, and more NPC reaction shots. Anyways, do take note that this video will not be a full recap. We are just gonna be ranting about things that don't make sense. But before we start, let me say a little something. So about all the NPC reaction panels we've gotten so far, I just kinda noticed something here. Where the hell are the Vigilantes characters? Where's Slider, Pop-Tart, and Royd Max? I mean, come on. The movie characters are here, so how come none of these three even made a cameo yet? Is it because the creator already forgot about Vigilantes? Is it because there's just simply no more space to draw them in? Or on the other hand, could they be already here and no one just noticed them? Could this disembodied hand over here possibly belong to Slider? Or is Slider one of these people in the background? Or did he just die off screen, that's why he can't make a cameo anymore? Either way, that's enough Vigilantes mysteries. Let's get on with the rant. Okay, so about chapter 405. So like I said earlier, it's a Lord Explosion murder focused chapter. And pretty much like chapter 403, this chapter's once again so focused towards one person that when you zoom out a bit and carefully look at the scenes, it's quite easily noticeable that once again barely anything else in this chapter makes any sort of sense. Okay, now allow me to enumerate them all, because holy hell, there's quite a number of randible stuffs in this chapter. First, we have this Superman landing scene. Okay. Always remember how Superman already resisted a supersonic neck snap when Mr. Demon Lord quickly moved to go punch some planes. And then afterwards he once again resisted being cut in half when Lord Explosion Murder saved him at supersonic speeds. And now at chapter 405, he can now apparently also shrug off a supersonic gear shift landing for some reason. Yeah, Superman's just somehow straight up unkillable now. He already lost his mecha suit, and yet it only made him even tougher. Hell, he's even posing at the end of the fall like nothing happened. Now while yes, I know how plot armor works, but this is just f***ing ridiculous.
Why won't you die?
I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far.
Okay, now let's move on to randible stuff number 2. So over here we have the kids once again being all cheery and amazed despite the level of blood and violence they're seeing. You know what, I literally already talked about this in the previous rant video. About kids being inspired by blood and violence. And now apparently they're doing it again. I swear the more bloodier and messier a scene is, the more excited these kids become. What the hell? Can someone just pull these children away from their screens already?
Come with me!
Oh no! What about the game?
Rantable stuff number 3. The revival explanation. Okay, so this is basically pretty much what everyone thinks is the stupidest and silliest moment in the entire chapter. And I agree, it is definitely quite high on the bullshit scale. I mean, how the f is this even supposed to work? You mean there's this guy dying over here, and then after he exploded himself he's awake now? And also, how the f did the sweat drop automatically explode without needing a f***ing spark? And how come Lord Explosion Murder didn't damage himself any further? How come he didn't need any more blood transfusions or anything? And most importantly, how the hell did the sweat even get into the bloodstream to explode in the first place if Mr. Number 4 is already done stitching everything? So does that mean this guy didn't stitch properly and still left some holes? But then again, I gotta say, as much as how silly and nonsensical this moment is, but always remember we're in MHA, the same manga where a demon lord can suddenly turn into a technology wizard in one scene, and then go back again to being a normal demon lord in the next. It's also the same manga where some random idiot is capable of rewriting her own backstory. And then there's the UA building with literally no purpose other than being deadweight, yet is still part of the floating fortress. So yeah. In terms of MHA bullshit, the Lord Explosion murder revival stuff is actually relatively tame all things considered. You can tell the creator just wants to pull off his usual, look how far the students have become. But since he couldn't make something logical like what he did with the others, he just settled with some bullshit exploding blood vessels instead. But hey, at least it's not that big of a bullshit.
That is one big pile of shit.
Okay, now let's move on to randable stuff number 4. So over here. How come Lord Explosion Murder just left Superman out here on some rooftop? Why didn't he put him somewhere else safer first instead of just leaving him here completely exposed to rain and a bunch of other things? Well yeah, I know Superman's pretty much unkillable at this point, but leaving him out in the rain is just really silly.
The night you dumped me. Alone. In the rain. Did you ever look back?
Rantable stuff number 5. Well, technically this is not gonna be a real rant. I'd just like to point out how these people all shared one panel, while the little great boy gets to have his own. That's also right next to Superman himself. Also, Wallhack's panel over here is the one where he's showing off his ass.
Oh, look at his little buns.
Mom, not cool.
Rantable stuff number 6. Okay, we have reached the final rantable stuff in chapter 405. It's about Mr. Demon Lord. So over here we can see that apparently he didn't move at all while the earlier scenes are happening, and only after that he's thinking on where to go. Of course this raises the obvious question of, what the f is he doing all this time? Did he just watch the whole thing happen and not interrupt it because he's a respectful demon lord?
Oh man, that is nice touch. Oh, I am a mess with this, right? I'm emotional. Here come the water slide.
Or what if he's not being a respectful demon lord, and the only reason he didn't do anything all this time is because he once again got distracted by the UA floating fortress. But well, considering the fact that he canonically already got distracted by the UA building once, because apparently it looks super f***ing sexy to him somehow, I wouldn't be surprised if this is once again the case here. But anyways, UA building jokes aside, the real reason as to why Mr. Demon Lord reacted extremely late is simply because the plot once again made him a convenient idiot. I mean, come on, this should be pretty obvious at this point. It's literally what's been happening with him for the entire final battle now. Okay, now with all my rantable stuff said, rant over. Okay, so there's the chapter 405 rant video. Man, that's another chapter closer and closer to the ending. Also, now that I think of it, how would MHA solve quirk singularity anyway? Would it just speedrun a sudden solution, or the manga will just end without it ever being solved because the creator already forgot about it like he forgot about 5-minute memory? But what if there's a third option? The manga will just end, and the speedrun solution will just appear in an extra bonus manga. Now whatever, I'll just go end this video.